In the previous video, I explained to you the head box relaxation table, and of course I explained and I stressed that the relaxation tables are the ultimate as far as head box process settings are concerned. I consider it is like water, and the DCS in the calculation in the DCS are like wine. But everybody drinks water. He doesn't drink wine. You can drink wine just for leisure. But water is the ultimate as far as surviving is concerned. So really, if you are serious and try to improve your sheet quality and develop your new products and increase the production rate, you have to start from the head box area. And I am going to put some quotes and try to explain that and try to fit it with whatever I talked before. Millions saw the apple fall, but Isaac Newton was the one who asked why. I applied similar observations in the head box. People look to the head box as a black box. Well, the flow comes from one side and go to the other side. But as I said, there is a lot of things going on inside that head box. And I was able, through the scientific principles and the application in the 650 machines which I analyzed, the results can be fascinating and exciting when you do it right. Here is another quotation. I like to read it before I try to express my views. Although our knowledge begins with experience, it does not follow that it arises from experience. You have to put a theory behind it. That's very, very important. Everybody say, well, by experience we did that. Well, that's fine. But if you don't really have to develop a theory behind what you are talking about, you really cannot translate that knowledge from operator to operator or machine tender to machine tender or shift to shift and so on. That's what I mean by that. Once I do these calculations, even if I did it right in your plant and right on site, doesn't mean anything unless I translate that knowledge to the practical paper making, and everybody will follow the same rules. Once he knows the theory behind it, why he's doing that, that makes the life easier. What does this mean? That you can repeat your product from shift to shift, run to run, grade to grade, and so on. Follow up in my views on the head box area. I have to tell you, when I started Papyrus business about 32 years or so, people really was looking to the head box, as I said, as a black box or black magic. Once you apply science, you break up the rules, you break up that myth, and you explain the theories, and people can absorb it and understand it, and it becomes a routine for them. And here is really a nice, interesting statement, which I put it together, and I think I can explain my point over here. Until a few years, I'm talking about maybe 30 years or so, the topic in scientific paper making in the head box operation were unfashionable, but they are very popular today. When you try to talk about science in the head box area 30 years ago, people don't want to listen. Now everybody question why you are doing that, what do you mean by that, and so on. That's exactly what I mean by was unfashionable before. They look at it as a black box. Not anymore it is a black box. It is science. And of course, because I am using science, high-level research material, scientific information have been done by researchers, institutions, and universities. You just have to believe it, and the bottom line is the results. I asserted several times about the power of the head box and how you can start from the head box area as a starting point and give you the results immediate and dramatic. And I put that against statements. The solutions to problems have to be simple but powerful. As Archimedes said, I'm very sure that you know Archimedes, he said, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the earth. What he is trying to do when he went to the king, as far as the story is concerned, when he designed that fulcrum, very simple matter, but very, very powerful when you do it right. And that's exactly what it is. You just tell him, give me a fulcrum and a place to where I stay, and I shall move for you the whole world. That is exactly what I saw in about 650 machines in more than 550 companies around the world. And all these things are done basically with no or minimum capital investment. Hard to believe it unless you see it. As you know, as a paper maker, the paper industry is plagued with all kinds of problems, typically basis weight variation in the MED, CD, moisture variation, strength variations, and you name it. And most of these problems stems from the head box and the approach piping system. The rectifier rolls in a rectifier air padded head box is a source of this area if the design is not correct, and also the distributor tubes of the manifold header for hydraulic head box, and the same thing also goes with air padded head box. And what I'm trying to say over here, cause must always precede the effect, not the other way around. Example, the wrong design of rectifier rolls cause streaks and not the other way around. And of course, part of the beauty of the recommendations, which I do mostly, I examined these areas in details. The rectifier rolls, the open area, the hole size, and the diameter, and examine the flow rate, and determine what I call the mixing length or the turbulence coming out of these rectifier rolls or the distributor tubes. If they are too long, they are going to set and dissipate on the wire. If they are too short, well, they can dissipate early and also negate the sheet formation and sheet strength, and also eventually will cause also streaks because fibers are going to build up in the head box area and the slice and so on. So these are areas. Once I find out the difficulty and the problem coming from which area, then I can make the right decision. Probably just swap the rectifier rolls, or maybe make another design of the rectifier roll with different open area, different hole size. That's what I'm calling no or minimum capital investment. And the results can be also fascinating and exciting. You don't have to pay too much money except to supply Papyrus the right information, the measurements, and take care of the rest.